In the early hours of dawn, when the world is silent and even desire sleeps, a question rises quietly in the mind of anyone who dares to listen. Why, in a life filled with pleasure, does the heart still feel empty? This is not a story about sin. This is not a story of denial. This is a story of awareness. Long ago, in the land where dust roads met royal palaces, lived a man who had everything the world promises: youth, wealth, admiration, and endless pleasure. His name was Ranak. People envied him. Friends admired him. Women desired him. And yet, when night ended and silence returned, Ranak felt something missing, something unnamed. The world had taught him that pleasure was success. No one had taught him how to live consciously. This story is not about wasting the body. It is about wasting life energy. Because Gautam Buddha never taught rejection. He taught responsibility. And when desire is lived unconsciously, it drains the mind, weakens the spirit, and turns fullness into emptiness. This is the story of a man who mistook pleasure for fulfillment, and how silence, wisdom, and awareness changed his life forever. Listen carefully. This story does not judge. It reveals.
Ranak was admired everywhere he went. His house was always full of laughter. Music echoed through marble halls. Perfume and wine filled the air. Every night blended into the next, glowing with excitement and desire. To the outside world, Ranak was winning at life. He was young. He was rich. He was free. Or so it seemed. Each evening, new faces arrived, smiles glowing with novelty, eyes inviting attention. Ranak moved from one experience to another, not out of love, but out of habit. Pleasure followed pleasure, like waves chasing one another, never resting. Yet something interesting happened every morning. When the sun rose and the echoes of the night faded, Ranak would sit alone by his window, staring into nothing. The laughter was gone. The warmth was gone. Only silence remained, and it felt heavy. He never spoke of it, because powerful men are not supposed to feel empty. So he chased pleasure harder, more excitement, more indulgence, more desire. But fulfillment never stayed. Unconsciously, Ranak was doing something the ancient wisdom warns against. He was scattering his life force without awareness. Not because desire is wrong, but because unseen desire consumes the mind. In the teachings of the wise, sexual energy is not just physical. It is creative, mental, and spiritual. When wasted mindlessly, it weakens clarity, discipline, and peace. Ranak did not know this yet. He believed freedom meant no limits. He believed masculinity meant endless conquest. He believed happiness was something to take. And so he lived night after night, satisfied for moments, hollow for days. Sometimes after moments of pleasure, a strange sadness would appear, soft, quiet, but persistent. Ranak would dismiss it, blaming boredom, blaming routine, blaming the familiar. Never once did he ask himself the deeper question: why does pleasure leave me more tired than fulfilled? His mind was always busy, his body always stimulated, but his heart remained untouched. Like a golden cup with a crack at the bottom, everything poured in and everything leaked out. Ronak was wasting not just desire, but direction. Still, society applauded him. "Live while you're young," they said. "Enjoy what the world offers," they said. And Ronak smiled, because it was easier to smile than to listen to the silence within. He did not yet know that silence was trying to teach him something. That the discomfort he felt was not weakness, it was awareness knocking on the door. And soon, very soon, that door would open.
As days passed, the silence within Ronak began growing louder. At first, it arrived only in the mornings, a heaviness in the chest, a tiredness that sleep could not cure. But soon, it followed him even into the noise, into laughter, music, and pleasure. Ronak noticed something disturbing. The things that once excited him now demanded more effort. Smiles felt rehearsed. Touch felt habitual. Desire no longer brought anticipation, only relief, like scratching an itch that refused to heal. Something inside him was hungry, not the body. The mind was restless. The spirit was starving. So Ronak did what the world had taught him. He sought distraction. He traveled to new places, changed surroundings, sought new faces. But everywhere he went, the same emptiness followed, because hunger of the soul cannot be fed by the senses. One afternoon, after another night that ended in dull completeness, Ronak walked alone beyond the city walls. The noise of markets faded behind him as trees replaced buildings. The road grew quieter. His thoughts, usually buried beneath music and conversation, surfaced uncontrollably. For the first time, Ronak did not run from them. He felt a strange loneliness, deep, vast, and unexplained. And within that loneliness, a question emerged. If pleasure is the purpose of life, why does it leave me so tired? He could not answer it. This hunger was different. It did not scream. It whispered. Ronak began noticing something else. He feared stillness. When there was nothing to do, nothing to chase, nothing to consume, his mind became uncomfortable. He realized that pleasure had been his shield against silence. Silence brings truth, and truth requires courage. Unknowingly, he had been leaking his life energy, draining his mind through excess and unconscious desire. Without awareness, even abundance becomes exhaustion. Still, he did not yet search for wisdom, because the ego first tries harder before it surrenders.
One morning, while wandering deeper into the forest path, Ronak saw something unusual. Under a large tree, a man sat completely still. No guards, no servants, no decoration, just a simple robe and silence. Birds perched nearby without fear. The air felt calmer around him, as if the world itself had slowed down. Ronak stopped. This man was different. He was not poor, yet he owned nothing. He was not powerful, yet he radiated strength. He did not seek attention, yet attention naturally gathered around him. This was Gautam Buddha. Ronak approached cautiously. He expected teachings, sermons, or commands, but Buddha said nothing. His eyes were soft, like a lake without ripples. Uncomfortable with silence, Ronak spoke first. "Why do you sit here doing nothing?" he asked, half mocking, half curious, "while the world is full of pleasure and excitement?" Buddha looked at him gently and smiled. Then he asked one question: "Are you fulfilled?" The question struck deeper than any insult. Ronak laughed lightly. "Of course, I enjoy life." Buddha remained silent. Silence has a weight words do not carry. After a long pause, Buddha spoke softly. "If enjoyment brings fulfillment, why do you avoid being alone?" Ronak felt a tightening in his chest. He had no answer. Buddha continued, "Desire is not the problem. Unawareness is." For the first time, Ronak felt seen, not judged, not criticized, but understood. Buddha explained that every human carries a powerful energy, the energy to create, to love, to grow. When spent unconsciously, this energy weakens the mind and scatters intention. You do not waste energy because you desire. You waste it because you do not watch yourself while desiring. Ronak listened, confused, but deeply attentive. Buddha did not speak of rejection or morality as rules. He spoke of responsibility. When you act without awareness, your energy leaves you. When you act with awareness, energy transforms you. This was Ronak's first wisdom. Not control, not suppression, awareness. As Ronak left that place, something felt different. The world had not changed, but something inside him had shifted. He was no longer hungry for pleasure alone. He was hungry for understanding. And this hunger, unlike all others, did not exhaust him. It awakened him.
Ronak returned to the forest again, not because Buddha had summoned him, but because silence had begun to feel honest. This time, Ronak sat at a respectful distance as Buddha rested beneath the tree. The world around them moved slowly. Leaves whispered. Birds shifted without urgency. Ronak spoke, his voice softer than before. "You speak of awareness," he said, "but the world says desire must be satisfied. If desire is wrong, why does it exist?" Buddha opened his eyes. "Desire is not wrong," he replied calmly. "Unconscious desire is." The words stayed with Ronak. Buddha explained that desire, especially sexual desire, is one of the most powerful forces in human life, not because it provides pleasure, but because it carries creative energy. The same energy that creates life, Buddha said, also builds clarity, discipline, and compassion. When this energy is spilled without awareness, the mind weakens. When respected, it strengthens. Ronak listened carefully. He had been taught that sex was either indulgence or guilt, never responsibility. Buddha continued, "Sex is not dirty. It becomes harmful only when it is used to escape silence, loneliness, or truth." Ronak felt the meaning pierce deeper than any rule or teaching. He understood now. His restless nights were not joy, but avoidance. Buddha said gently, "When pleasure becomes a habit, it turns from celebration into consumption." The teaching was not about refusing the body, it was about honoring it. Ronak noticed that Buddha never asked him to stop living, only to start seeing. Mindfulness, Buddha said, transforms desire into devotion. For the first time, Ronak understood that sacredness does not come from denial, but from awareness. He left the forest that day quieter, thoughtful, and slightly unsettled. because wisdom does not comfort the ego, it rearranges it.
In the days that followed, Ronak became an observer of himself. For the first time in his life, he watched his urges instead of obeying them. This alone felt like a battle. Desire did not disappear. It whispered, it tempted, it demanded attention. But now, Ronak paused. He remembered Buddha's teaching. Every seed has a purpose. One evening, Ronak sat again beside Buddha and asked, "If desire is energy, then what happens when it is wasted?" Buddha picked up a seed from the ground. "If you throw a seed onto stone," he said, "nothing grows. If you plant it in good soil, it becomes life." The seed in his hand was small, yet full of invisible potential. "You have been throwing seeds carelessly," Buddha continued, "not planting them." This was not an accusation, it was an awakening. Buddha explained that sexual energy is meant to elevate, not exhaust. When released thoughtlessly, it drains focus, dulls discipline, and scatters intention. When conserved with awareness, it rises within the body, strengthening the mind and sharpening perception. Responsibility does not mean fear, Buddha said. It means direction. Ronak felt this deeply. For years, he had given himself away piece by piece, emotionally empty, mentally scattered. Now he understood why motivation weakened, why clarity faded. He had mistaken freedom for lack of boundaries. True freedom, Buddha explained, comes from mastery, not indulgence. When you rule yourself, Buddha said, the world cannot enslave you. This was difficult for Ronak. Some days he failed, some nights moments of weakness returned. But now, regret had changed. Instead of guilt, awareness followed. Instead of punishment, reflection arose. Even failure had become a teacher. Ronak discovered something surprising. Restraint brought confidence. His mind grew quieter, his eyes clearer, his presence steadier. The same energy that once left him tired now made him alert. Not because he suppressed desire, but because he carried it consciously. And within this responsibility, Ronak felt something new. Strength without aggression, calm without avoidance, desire without slavery. For the first time, Ronak began to feel whole. As Ronak learned to observe desire, another realization emerged. Noise had ruled his life. Laughter that drowned reflection. Music that filled spaces meant for thought. Voices that kept silence away. Now, silence began approaching him differently. At Buddha's side, long pauses existed where no teaching was spoken. At first, these moments made Ronak uneasy. His body shifted, his thoughts raced, his mind searched for distraction. Silence exposed him. Every memory he had buried under pleasure rose gently, unasked yet unavoidable. Faces, moments, choices, not as punishment, but as acknowledgement. Buddha noticed his discomfort. Silence is not empty, he said quietly. It only feels empty to a mind accustomed to noise. Ronak practiced sitting without doing anything. At first, his body demanded movement. His mind offered stories. His desires returned stronger than before. But Buddha taught him not to fight. Whatever you resist grows, Buddha said. Whatever you watch fades. So Ronak watched,
He watched thoughts arrive and leave. He watched desires rise, peak, and dissolve. He watched boredom transform into calm. Something profound happened. Silence began to cleanse him. Without seeking pleasure, his breathing deepened. Without distraction, his heart slowed. Without escape, clarity emerged. He realized that pleasure had never given him peace. It had only postponed discomfort. Silence, on the other hand, revealed truth gently. "Silence is the teacher," Buddha whispered. "It shows you who you are beneath desire." Days passed. Ronak felt lighter. The restless hunger softened. Presence replaced urgency. For the first time, he was not chasing life. He was meeting it.
One afternoon, Buddha gathered Ranak and several others beneath a large tree and began a story. Long ago, Buddha said, there stood a great statue in a distant land. The statue appeared ordinary, covered in dull clay, rough and unimpressive. People passed by without awe, offering neither prayers nor attention. But when the statue was damaged during relocation, something remarkable was discovered. Beneath the layers of mud was pure gold. For centuries, the statue had been intentionally covered to protect it, hidden beneath clay to preserve its value from invaders. Buddha paused, letting silence rest between the words. "This statue," he said, "is the human being." Ranak felt the message settle slowly. "Our true nature is golden," Buddha continued, "but habits, fear, desire, and unconscious living cover it layer by layer." Ranak understood. His indulgence had been mud. His restlessness had been mud. His fear of silence, also mud. Buddha explained that discipline and awareness do not destroy desire, they remove the covering. When the mud is removed, nothing new is created. The gold was always there. Ranak reflected on his past. The emptiness he felt was not because he lacked something, but because he was obscured. The more conscious he became, the more stable he felt. Judgment faded, strength deepened, compassion arose naturally. Like the statue, he had protected his pain with pleasure, unaware that he was hiding his own brilliance. Now, slowly, carefully, awareness removed the layers. Buddha looked at Ranak and said quietly, "Do not rush transformation. Clay falls away when you remain present." In that moment, Ranak did not feel enlightened. He felt clean. The need to prove himself vanished. The urge to chase disappeared. The silence inside him no longer frightened him. It welcomed him. And for the first time in his life, Ranak sensed the gold within. Not displayed, not admired, simply present.
As Ronak's mind grew calmer, something subtle began to change. Women still noticed him, beauty still existed, desires still arose, but it no longer controlled him. One evening, Ranak met a woman he had known before, someone who, in the past, would have represented conquest, novelty, and excitement. This time, the encounter felt different. There was no urgency, no hidden hunger behind his eyes, no restless impulse driving his words. He listened. For the first time, Ranak listened, not waiting to impress, not planning to take, not searching for fulfillment through reaction. And something surprising happened. Connection appeared. Buddha later spoke to him about this shift. "Lust consumes," Buddha said softly. "Love witnesses." Ranak understood immediately. In his past, desire had been a transaction, attention given in exchange for pleasure, presence offered in expectation of fulfillment. Now, Love felt spacious. He did not need the other person to complete him. He did not fear loss. He did not cling. Buddha explained that when awareness enters relationships, love transforms from grasping into giving. Consumption leaves both empty. Presence leaves both nourished. Ronik realized he had never truly seen another human being before. He had only seen reflections of his own hunger. Now, as desire softened into clarity, compassion arose naturally. He respected boundaries, his own and others. He spoke with honesty. He walked away without regret when attachment tried to return. Love was no longer an escape from loneliness. It became an expression of wholeness. As Ronik continued walking this quieter path, Buddha introduced him to the simplest and most difficult teaching of all. The present moment, Buddha said, is enough. Ronik struggled to understand. His entire life had been shaped by memory and anticipation, regret for the past, craving for the future. Buddha explained gently, "When the mind lives in the past, it carries guilt. When it lives in the future, it carries desire. When it rests in the present, it carries peace." Ronik began practicing awareness in ordinary moments. He watched his breath as he walked. He ate slowly, tasting each bite. He noticed sunlight on his skin. At first, it felt boring. Then it felt alive. Without thinking about becoming something else, he felt complete. Without chasing pleasure or running from pain, he felt stable. Buddha reminded him, life does not happen later, it happens now. This teaching anchored everything. Ronik realized that his former restlessness was not caused by desire, but by absence from the present. He had been everywhere except where he was. Now, by simply being attentive, peace arrived without effort. Not excitement, not pleasure, peace. And in this peace, Ronik felt more powerful than he ever had during his loudest nights. Because power born from presence does not fade, it remains.
Time passed, but it did not announce itself. Ronik's transformation was not dramatic. There were no miracles, no declarations, no applause. And yet, everything had changed. He no longer chased nights that ended in exhaustion. He no longer sought validation and desire. He no longer feared silence. Friends noticed something different. He spoke less, but when he spoke, his words carried weight. His presence felt grounded. His eyes were calm yet awake. The hunger that once drove him had dissolved, not because it was satisfied, but because it was understood. Ronik still lived in the world. He worked, he interacted, he loved, but nothing owned him. Desire arose, but it passed. Emotions came, but they did not rule him. Pleasure appeared, but it did not enslave him. He had learned the rarest skill of all, self-mastery. One final day, Ronik sat beside Buddha once more. No questions arose, no doubt remained. Buddha looked at him for a long moment and said softly, "You have not renounced life. You have learned how to live." Ronik bowed, not in worship, but in gratitude. He understood now. Fulfillment does not arrive from accumulation. It arrives from alignment. When energy is directed with awareness, the mind becomes clear. When clarity leads action, peace follows naturally. Ronak walked away that day not as a follower, not as a disciple, but as a man awake within himself. There was nothing to prove, nothing to chase, nothing missing.
This story is not about Rajnak. It is about you. It is about the energy you spend unconsciously, the moments you escape instead of face, the silence you avoid instead of enter. Gautam Buddha never taught suppression. He taught awareness. He never taught rejection of desire. He taught respect for energy. When life is lived without consciousness, even pleasure becomes exhaustion. When life is lived with awareness, even simplicity becomes richness. Sex, desire, ambition, love, none are enemies. But when they are consumed without presence, they consume you. Silence is not emptiness. It is clarity without noise. The present moment is not boring. It is complete. When you stop chasing, you arrive. So sit, breathe, observe. Your gold is already there. All that is needed is awareness and the courage to remain still.